Right, welcome to the conclusion of this game between the Yankees and the Rangers. This is 1986. I told you in the last video that I would do it off camera, but I thought, well, I've got a little bit of time, so let me just finish this game up on camera. The score is 7-3, New York over Texas. New York had a big couple of innings here, two solo home runs, one from Ken Griffey Sr., one from Butch Weiniger. There's a 3-run home run from Don Mattingly. And then a sac fly from Mike Pagliarulo. Just had a Don Mattingly RBI single, so that's the scoring for the Yankees. For the Rangers, it's going to be a solo home run from Gary Ward in the second inning. They did get a sac fly that brought in Scott Fletcher. That was from Pete O'Brien in the third. And in the fourth, had an RBI double from Steve Buechele. So we head to the top of the fifth. It is 7-3. Bobby Witt still on the mound. This will probably be his last inning. We'll see how it goes for him. And don't know who to bring in after that. We'll have to find out. So this is going to be Bobby Witt against Easler, Griffey, and Pagliarulo. And let's see how this goes for Bobby Witt. It's going to be a 404, which is going to be a K. That's a good one. And that's going to be a strikeout swinging for Mike Easler. That's his first strikeout of the day. Bobby Witt now 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Ks. So Bobby Witt actually a strikeout pitcher. He had 174 Ks in 157 innings, so better than a strikeout an inning. Let's bring up the next batter. The next batter is going to be Ken Griffey. Griffey 1 for 2 with a home run. He's going to make an out here. 419 will be a grounder. And that goes to 188, which is to the second baseman. Second baseman is Toby Harrah. No problem there. So 4-3 on the putout. 2 down. And Mike Pagliarulo, the third baseman for the Yankees, comes up. Pags hit 238 with 28 bombs in 1986. This is going to be an out, though, as he hits a ground ball. And that's going to go to the shortstop. And the shortstop is Scott Fletcher. No problems there. So 1, 2, 3. Good inning for Bobby Witt, as that's only his second shutdown inning, scoreless inning. He had a scoreless inning in the first and then gave up 7 runs over the next 3. So he's made it through 5. He's given up 7 runs, which is not great, but young pitcher. And that's sometimes what you get. Back to the top of the order for the Rangers. Top of the order hasn't done a whole lot other than Pete O'Brien's RBI. So that's going to be an out. And 139 is a fly ball from Oddibe McDowell. 6-2 is a fly ball to straightaway right field. Right fielder is Dave Winfield, and basically in his tracks, he makes the play. It's a 9, not a 8 for out number 1. Toby Harrah at the plate. Harrah's second baseman for the Rangers. 814 is going to be good enough for a base hit. He's been on once. He hit into a double play in the first. He's going to avoid that here. 596 is going to be a double. So Harrah reaches out, rips one down the line, and he's going to be standing at second base with 1 out. Pete O'Brien to the plate. O'Brien, their best hitter, all-around hitter. 290, 23 home runs, 90 RBIs, 160 hits, and 156 ball games at first base. This is going to be an out. 952 will be a liner. Let's see if it's made. 8-8 will be a line drive to left center field. The left fielder is out there. That's Griffey in left. And he's going to make the running catch in the gap, and that's going to be out number 2. No advancement from the runner there, as he is in scoring position with 2 outs. Means he'll score. He can score on a single. Not going to get a single here from Pete Incaviglia, though. This will be an out for Inky. 6-12 is going to be a ground out. Goes to the shortstop. And the shortstop is Bobby Meacham. Meacham gets it over to Mattingly for out number 3. So the Rangers do get one on, and they leave him at second base. Toby Hare with the double is stranded at second. Rangers are down 7-3 as we head to the top of the 8th inning. Top of the 6th. Bobby Witt still in the game, and let's see if he can keep going. Let's try to squeeze out as many innings as we can from the starter. He's facing Butch Weiniger. This is going to be a strikeout, and that's a strikeout swinging, so he gets Weiniger on the changeup. Brings up Bobby Meacham. Meacham 0 for 2. He has a line out and a fly out. He's going to make another out here. 241 will be a grounder, so he's testing all of the 3 outcomes here. A grounder to 803 is a grounder to the shortstop. Fletcher's up and over to first for out number 2. 2 down now. Back to the top of the order, Ricky Henderson. Henderson 0 for 2. He's got a walk and a run scored, also 2 Ks. He's not going to strike out this time, but he is going to make an out. 69 will be a fly ball to 57, which is medium left center. The center fielder, McDowell, is over to make the play, and that will be out number 3. So 1, 2, 3, a couple 1, 2, 3 innings for Bobby Witt from the 5th to the 6th, and the Yankees go down in order. It's going to be 7-3, bottom of the 6th inning. Gary Ward up. Ward already with home run. He's 2 for 2 on the day. Home run and a single. He's going to be out this time as Guidry. Still pitching well. 3 earned runs in 5 innings. There is a 781, so that's going to be a grounder to 145, which is to first base, and the first baseman Matting, not a problem. He's going to actually take that 3 unassisted over to first base, waves off the pitcher, and takes it himself. So 1 down with Larry Parrish, the DH. Parrish, 276 hitter, 28 bombs and 94 RBIs, so a lot of power. 842 is going to be a hit. Let's see if that power is on display here. He's 0 for 2. This is going to be a 46, so he reaches out, strokes a solid single into right field, and that will be a base knock for him. 1-22 activates him to run. Not that we would do it, but he is at first base. Don Slott, the catcher, up. Slott got on with the fielder's choice back in the 4th inning. He's going to make an out here. Let's see what kind of out that is. That's a 499. That will be a ground ball, so opportunity for 2, as there's 1 out with a runner at first base. 406 will be to the second baseman, and he makes the play, so that's going to be a force out at second. We'll say 406, and that will be out number 2. And then let's check against Don Slott's speed, which is a 360. So 1-360 is safe, and he is going to be out on the 4-6-3 twin killing, and that's going to be actually an ending double play as the Rangers go down in order in the 6th. 7-3, still our score. Game moving along very quickly. Let's go ahead and bring in a new pitcher for the Rangers. Bobby Witt went 6 innings. So he did his job here. Did give up 7 runs, and the last 2 innings he's kept the Rangers in the game. So let's see what we can do as far as relief pitching is concerned. Who to bring in? I'm not very familiar with Ranger. You know what? Let's give Mitch Williams a chance. This could be throwing gas on the fire, but I just want to see the Wild Thing come in and throw. So really, that's what it is. So Mitch Williams, the Wild Thing, coming in. Had a great success with the Cubs and the Phillies, and gave up the big home run that basically ended his career. But he was a great pitcher, young pitcher here. 98 innings, 90 strikeouts, 358 ERA, but 79 walks in 98 innings. So expect a few walks here. He's going to be facing off against Willie Randolph, Don Mattingly, and Dave Winfield. This is going to be an out. 5-13 will be a grounder to 58. That's going to be a ground ball to the first baseman. First baseman is O'Brien, and he will toss it to Williams covering. That's out number 1, and Willie Randolph is down in the 7th. Donnie Mattingly, first baseman for the Yanks. 497 is going to be a strikeout, and that'll be a strikeout swinging as he gets Mattingly low and away, and that's going to be out number 2. First strikeout for Mitch Williams. Let's go ahead and indicate that here. New pitcher. And Dave Winfield. Winfield 0 for 2. He does have a walk and a run scored. He's going to get a base knock here, 884. And let's see what he does with it. That'll be a base hit. 2-out hit for Dave Winfield. And that's going to be, let's see where it went. See if he gets extras. 10-3. 10-3 is actually, he hits it to right field, and he's going to squeeze a double out of that, actually. So as the ball rolls and gets all the way almost to the warning track, Winfield's going to take an extra base on that one. And so we got a 2-out double for Winfield. The way I figure that is he hits it to 10-3, and this is a go zone. So that's basically, you know, ball rolls all the way to the warning track. In Cavilla couldn't get it until then. And so he's going to take an extra base on that one, as it's a deep single. Mike Easler up. Easler 1 for 3. Struck out his last at bat. He's not going to strike out this time. 7-16 is a walk from Mitch Williams. So 2 on, 2 out. And Ken Griffey Sr. coming to the plate. He's homered in this game. He's 1 for 3. 485. That's going to be a strikeout. Let's see what kind. That will be a strikeout looking, as Mitch Williams has him guessing and gets him on the fastball. So not quite 3 up, 3 down for Mitch Williams, but he does get out of it. The 2-out jam. And the score is still 7-3. Ron Guidry still in the game. We'll leave him in there for another inning and see what he can do here. Might be a mistake. But he's facing the bottom of the order. Steve Buechele, Scott Fletcher, and then back to the top with Odabe McDowell. This will be an out. And that is a line drive to deep right field. The right fielder is who? The right fielder is Dave Winfield. He's going back on it, and he's going to make the play. Tough play, as he had to make a little leap there at the end. Makes a nice athletic play to get the out on Steve Buechele, who drove it the other way. Brings up Scotty Fletcher, the shortstop. Fletcher, 300 hitter with 3 home runs and 50 RBIs. This will be an out. 686 is a grounder, and that's going to go to the first baseman. First baseman is Donnie Mattingly, and he scoops it up, tosses it to the pitcher covering, and Guidry steps on first for out number 2. This will be Odabe McDowell to the plate. McDowell is 0 for 3 or 0 for 2. Sorry, he's got a walk here. Reached on an error in the first and was cut down on a fielder's choice. This is going to be an out. So Guidry still throwing well. 361 is a ground ball to 226. That's a grounder to second base. 855. Let's see. Second baseman is Willie Randolph. No issues there, as he sidearms it over to first base. And that will be out number 3. 3 up, 3 down for the Rangers against Guidry. Guidry pitching very well. 3 runs in 7 innings. And not a lot of strikeouts here. Is that 1, 2? 2 strikeouts, but he's also not walking anybody. 2 strikeouts and a walk. So pitching to contact and playing very well for the Yanks. Mitch Williams still in the game. He's going to be facing off against the bottom of the order. Trust him against them. It's going to be Pagliarulo, Weiniger, and Bobby Meacham. The Yankees have a 7-3 lead. 950, probably shouldn't be trusting the Wild thing as he comes in and he hits Mike Pagliarulo with the first pitch. And so down to first goes Pags, 1-28. He's activated, and not that we would steal with him necessarily. A 1-410 is not a great percentage for me personally. Butch Weiniger, 522. 522 is going to be a strikeout. And Weiniger struck out in his last at bat, and he's going to strike out here too. This time he gets caught looking as Mitch Williams gets his third strikeout in an inning and a third, which is his forte. So Bobby Meacham up to the plate. 313. 313 is going to be an out. 703 will be a grounder. Chance for 2 here. 343. That will be hit to the second baseman. Second baseman makes the play. That's going to be Hara. Over to Fletcher. So we're going to go 4-6. 4-6 on the putout. That's out number 2. Let's roll against Bobby Meacham's speed, which is a 1-450 safe, and he's going to be safe at first on the fielder's choice as he just beats it out. So we go 4-6 on the fielder's choice. 2 down now. With a runner at first base, Meacham is activated with a 161 and or 1-161. So he's not going anywhere, and it'll be Ricky Henderson. Henderson flied out to center field in his last at bat. 967. That's going to be something good. A wild pitch. So the wild thing with the wild pitch. Getting a little early there on Ricky. Let's see if that actually happens. So Ricky's still to the plate. Runner at second base now with 2 outs. Single's going to drive him in. 946 is a hit by pitch. And so, Williams drills the batter. That's going to put runners at first and second with 2 outs. Let's see if he can get Willie Randolph here. Randolph grounded to first his last at bat. This is going to be a 407, and of course that's going to be a strikeout, and that will be a strikeout swinging for Willie Randolph. Third out of the inning. The Yankees threaten, but they can't get it in, and so that is what you get when Mitch Williams. You get a guy who's going to put a ton of people on base, but boy, he's also going to strike out a lot of folks. So we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and Guidry's still on the mound. Let's see if he can keep going. He's up 7-3 over the Rangers. Rangers have the middle of the order coming up, and Guidry's going to be on a short leash here. He gets the out here, 288, and that will be a ground out. You can see we test, which kind of out that the batter hits. Grounder to 831 is going to be to the shortstop, and shortstop makes the play. So that'll be 6-3 for Meacham on the putouts. Brings up Pete O'Brien. Pete O'Brien has 1 hit. He does have an RBI. He lined out his last at bat. 549 will be a strikeout for Guidry, and that's going to be a swinging strikeout for O'Brien. Strikeout number 2 as Guidry gets him with the breaking ball. And he swings over the top of it. Pete Incaviglia, a right-hander against Guidry, the lefty. 703. 703 is going to be a walk as Incaviglia holds up on that 3-2 pitch and makes it to first. 1-26. He's activated, and it doesn't matter. Gary Ward to the plate. Ward with an RBI and 2 hits. He has a home run in the first inning. 989, he's going to get another one. Look at that, right off the pitcher card. So Gary Ward muscles up for his second home run of the day and takes Guidry deep for the 2-run home run. And that will bring in Pete Incaviglia, who just walked. So a 2-out, 2-run home run. That's going to be the end of the line for Ron Guidry, as the score is now 7-5, and the Yankees are going to bring in a new pitcher. So let's see who they got. Who do they got? Who do they got? They got Bob Shirley. Shirley is going to come into the game, see if we can close it down. So he and Fisher, I don't know. I don't trust that. He has the most. Let's bring in Tim Stoddard. Okay, he feels like a better choice. Which I guess in the 8th inning with 2 down. Actually, let's bring in Righetti. See if he can get the 4-out save. What do we think? Yeah, I got these somewhat in order. Not really of how I would use them, but of innings pitched. So Dave Righetti, the closer for the Yankees, he had 46 saves in 1986, so an excellent choice to bring in to try to save this one. 7 2/3 for Ron Guidry. And then we got Righetti coming in. He'll be facing off against Larry Parrish. So Guidry just gives up the 2-run home run. And that's going to be a 7-5 lead here for New York, trying to preserve this 2-run lead. Righetti comes in 8-11 and promptly gives up a hit to Larry Parrish. A 982 is going to be a bomb, so back-to-back home runs for the Rangers as they draw within 1. And that is going to be a 7-6 ball game as Righetti, making it a little bit too close for comfort, brings up Don Slott. 640 will be a strikeout for Righetti, and Righetti gets him looking, and that'll be out number 3. But the Rangers do put 3 on the board in the 8th, and they make this one a lot closer than it should be. 7-6 is our score. And let's go and get a new pitcher for Texas. We'll bring their closer in. Their closer is Greg Harris. Harris with 20 saves on the season, 2.83 ERA and 111 innings pitched, 73 games. So high quality closer, reliever for Texas. And let's reflect that here. So it's going to be Harris. Mitch Williams goes 2 innings. Yeah, we got a new pitcher here. We had a new pitcher here. Okay. All right, so we got everything set to go. Greg Harris against the heart of the order, Mattingly, Winfield, and Easler. This is the power part of the order. 580 is going to be a strikeout for Harris. 335 will be a strikeout swinging as he gets Mattingly taking a big healthy cut, and that's going to be out number 1 as he misses. Harris with 95 strikeouts in 111 innings, so decent strikeout pitcher. 267, he's going to make an out here. Winfield is going to make the out. This will be a ground ball to who? A ground ball to the catcher, so a little nubber out in front of the plate. 876, the catcher is Don Slott, and no problem for him as he gets out, spins around, and gets it over to first base for out number 2. Mike Easler to the plate. Easler with a double back in the 3rd inning. Struck out, walked. He's done a little bit of everything in this game. He's going to make an out here. And that is 574. That will be a grounder to the first baseman, Pete O'Brien. He's up with it, runs it over to first himself, and gets Easler, who is slow of foot, not a quick runner. And that's going to be 3-3 down. So Greg Harris shuts down the Yankees in the 9th inning. Go to the bottom of the 9th. 7-6 is our score. The Yankees haven't scored for a while. The Rangers put up 3 in the bottom of the 8th inning, and they're facing off against Dave Righetti, the closer, who promptly came in and gave up a solo home run to cut the lead to 7-6. He'll be facing the bottom of the order, Steve Buechele, Scott Fletcher, and Oda B. McDowell. Buechele with an RBI double. McDowell is 1 for 3 as well. And let's see if they can get something going. 521, they're going to get a strikeout going. That's what they got right here. So it's going to be a strikeout looking for Steve Buechele as the Boo Birds come for the wrong reason. And this is going to be Scott Fletcher. Scotty Fletcher hit 300 with 3 home runs and 50 RBIs in 1986. 328 is going to be an out. This will be a grounder to 531. That's me a ground ball to third base. The third baseman is Pagliarulo. He doesn't have any issues with that one as he gets it over to Mattingly at first for out number 2. The Rangers are down to their last at bat, last out, and this is going to be O.B. McDowell. McDowell, 266 hitter with 18 bombs and 49 RBIs, so he has a little pop, but he's not going to get anything against Righetti as he's going to make the out here. 160 will be a fly ball. That's going to be a fly ball to middle left field. 801. Got to check the outfielder. Griffey out there makes the play, and he's under it with an F7, and that's going to be a 3-up, 3-down inning for Dave Righetti, and he comes in and shuts the door on the Rangers. 7-6 is your final as the Rangers try to close in on this one, but the Yankees hold them off, and Dave Righetti gets the save. He comes in for the 4-out save. Almost blows it, but not quite. So we got, this is a new game. Maybe there's some wrinkles, but it does plays just fine, bringing in people and making switches and doing all the things that you need to do. I don't have any pitcher batting cards yet, so everything, even if you play with the 2 National League teams, St. Louis and San Diego, you have to use a DH, which, is not so bad. But who do we got here? So Gary Ward, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, definitely a star. One of the stars of the game. Don Mattingly, 2 for 5 with 3 ribbies. And who else did good things here? That's really about it. Mattingly was most of the offense here. So some sacrifice flies here. Weiniger had a solo bomb that accounts for 4 of the 7 runs, and then you got a sac fly here, 5 of the 7. Mattingly had 4 RBIs with his 2 hits, so that really is accounting for most of your runs with Don Mattingly. So he has a good game, and I suppose he would be the number 1 star. Ron Guidry had a good start. We wound up giving up 5 runs, but just had some trouble here in the 8th inning when he went back out there. I knew I was going to regret not bringing in someone for the 8th, and that's how it happens. You should listen to your gut while you're playing these games, and I did not. In fact, I often don't, and I push my luck, and that's usually what happens. If you want to try this game out, I'm going to put a link to the 4-team demo. So we have these 2 teams that have been playing. We also have the Cardinals, and we have the Padres in here somewhere. So these are the Padres and the Cardinals. So you can see it plays the same way. They have a fielding, and you have a pitcher. So if you're a defensive side, this is your offensive side, and these determine really what if you're playing with the outfield plays. Then you don't really need this side. You just need the ground outs. And if you don't want to play with the outfield plays chart, you can play the game completely with the fielding chances. So you just roll to see which fielder makes the play and do they make the play. That's basically it. And then you'll just have to do some sort of basic base running in order to decide who moves up and who doesn't. The point of this chart here is to give you options about when it's a go or a no-go, especially on a fly ball with runners on base. Do the runners advance? Do the runners not advance? And then this section here, they can advance at their own risk. The deeper the ball goes, this is home plate, this is the wall. The deeper the ball goes, the more opportunity you get to move up on a tag play. So the shorter it is, the more penalty you get. And basically you would just take this number here and you would add it or subtract it to the success, which is their speed rating. Which I'm using for basically any sort of base running plays, steals, tag ups, taking extra bases, whatever it is. And so if a ball is hit to this zone here, which would be 8-2, then you would add 200. So instead of a 1 to 290, he'd be a 1 to 490 to score or to move up a base. So I feel like it's a good system. It works really well. It's sort of fluid and it's a lot of variability here, which is kind of nice in the game. No two games are going to be alike or be played alike. It does not account for outfielder arms, but it does account for um, sort of normal depth of catching things. This would be like almost a warning track or warning track in the wall. So you're sort of like right up against the very edge. You get a fly ball to deep right field at the wall, and there's going to be an opportunity to tag up. So um, play that how you want. There's a couple different ways that you can do it. And if you don't care about who makes the play, you can cut out this entire roll. And so when you realize that it's a fly out, a ground out, or a line out, you can just call it an out, roll again, and no harm, no foul. You've cut out an entire, probably two rolls for who gets it and then who makes the error. So there are ways to sort of speed up the game and cut out some of the detail. So if you don't care as much about the detail, then feel free to cut things out. But basically, you start on the pitcher side, and whatever the outcome is, you find the detail off of the hitter card, if necessary. Hit by pitch, walks, wild pitch, balks, home runs. Like some of these, a walk. These are all going to come off of the pitcher card directly. And then if there's a hit or an out or a strikeout, we have those details over here. Haven't incorporated range yet, but I'm hoping to include that with the outfield plays. So maybe what I'm thinking is you can place, where's my little coin? So you have some sort of token, and on each play, you would be able to place your outfielders. So imagine you had 3. I think I do have 3. So you would, let's say you place your outfielders, you may want to play it like this or play it like this and play this guy in shallow or something, or this would be sort of, neutral, a neutral defense. This would be sort of guarding the lines, or shift right or shift left, or maybe, you just want to guard this first baseline. There's no real pull tendencies or anything like that that's figured into the game, but you could sort of take a guess, and what you would do is every player would get maybe 5 spaces, 4 or 5. I don't know what it would be, but you would get 4 or 5 in any one direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of all the way around. And then if it was outside of 1, 2, 3, 4, so like for this player here, if it got to here, you would need, because that's outside of his 4, you would need to roll against, who was their right fielder? The right fielder is Winfield. So for Winfield, you would need to roll against his range. So if it was hit to here, then you'd roll against his range to see if he comes in and makes the play there, based off of where his positioning is. If he's here, he makes the play because that's within 4 spaces all around him. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it's hit up here to the wall, then you have to test his range that way. So then you would roll against this. If it's 1 to 214, he makes the play. If it's outside of that, it's outside of his range, and so he just doesn't make the play. So to me, that's kind of a fun mechanic. Your range for center fielders is typically going to be a little bit bigger because center fielders often have more range. Let's see, Ricky. His range is 308, so he has a little better opportunity to make a range play, but 1, 2, 3, 4. So anything here, you would need to sort of check Ricky's range. But he would be able to cover side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, most basically this area here, he would be able to make the play, but anything down here, he would need to do a range check. If he's playing here, 1, 2, 3, 4, You have one, two, three, four. So he would be able to cover most of the outfield this way. So, just thinking about that, whether it should be three and then, one, two, three, then he would have to check his range for here. So just things to think about, especially with the outfielders. But we also have infielder range as well. And it says based off of putouts and assists. So first baseman catchers have crazy high ranges. So you can see with Mattingly 938. And just trying to decide, like, should that come into play on a ground ball? And maybe we need a ground ball chart like this, but I haven't really worked that out, like how you could do that. But basically, just you'd be able to apply your batters or your fielders to the field and do some variability there with where they play and position your players to be able to cut things off. You want to make sure that if it goes deep, that they get to the ball and it gets cut off. That kind of thing, that they make the play. Or if you need to play them in, because you want to make sure that they get to a little dinker or dump to cut off a single. So trying to simulate some of that with the outfield chart, the infield chart, and get a little bit more positioning players, sort of a Sherco type thing going on with being able to position your fielders. So again, the game is in development. I know I'm taking a little bit long here at the end, so if you're done, you're done. But just to let you know where the game is going and what is the thinking behind making some of the choices that I've made. Okay, Yankees beat the Rangers 7-6 in Arlington Stadium. This was played on May 10th, 1986. And got a good look at Mitch Wild Thing Williams. Young Bobby Witt gave up a lot in the first 3 innings and sort of settled down. Guidry pitched well, sort of smattering of runs and hits, and then he got to the 8th inning and was out of gas and gives up the 2-run home run to Gary Ward. All right. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comment section below. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I'm the designer of On Base Baseball and On Base Advanced and Quick Play Baseball. So I got a little bit of a cadre of baseball games. You can find them at onbasebaseball.com. I have lots of seasons for sale and have the decade roster sheets for On Base Baseball, which 10 years of baseball, every single player who's ever played in those decades is a part of the set. They're graded for the values that we use in on-base baseball, and there's also their roster sheets, their charts full of players, and then you can basically take those players, put them onto the score sheet, and play off the score sheet. So it's a way to, if you want to do as played replays, to have every single player who got into a game. If they came in and pitched and didn't get an out, they're on there. If they came in and pitched and got 1 out, they're on there. So you should have every single player who played in the major leagues that year, and you get it for $2 per season. So to me, that's one of the biggest deals in tabletop baseball. So you get 10 years worth of baseball, which you could do, a 10-year replay for $20. And all the game components and the charts, you can download era-specific charts. So if you just want to get the 80s roster sheet set and play baseball through the 80s, you can download the 80s, what's it called? The game engine chart, which has been sort of contoured and shaped for 80s baseball. Or if you want to play the 80s, but you want to play 1940s style of baseball, you can download the 1940s game engine chart and then put those players in the 80s into the 1940s. There's obviously going to be fewer home runs and fewer other strikeouts and things like that. So very interesting, and a lot of cross-pollination that can happen with those, and some interesting and fun projects that I think you could do across baseball history. So far we have 1940 to 2009, and so each of those decades has its own roster sheet set, and hopefully I can finish and complete all of baseball history with those next year. The plan is to have a pre-play of the 2023 season when the Zips projections come out. So I'll have a roster sheet set for that that you'll be able to purchase and pre-play the season. So if you want to get into the baseball action and see how it turns out before it turns out, you can use those projections to play on-base baseball throughout the season before it happens, and then you can test everything, see how it goes against the actual players' performances. And then this set, my plan is to release the full 1986 set. I'd like to get a few more things into the game, but you'll be able to play the entire 1986 season with any of the teams for free. And so all these components are going to be downloadable. And then after that, I'll probably just produce seasons. I'm thinking in the 70s and 80s, it feels like sort of a classic tabletop baseball game, and maybe the playing through the 70s and 80s are good seasons to produce. And so, starting with 1986 seems like a popular season. Lots of people like the Mets, the Red Sox, the Yankees, sort of all the big teams were good. The Dodgers were in between, but lots of interesting teams that were playing through the mid 80s and playing well. All right, that is it for me. Thank you for staying so long. If you stayed to this point, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, but you stayed this long, you should just hit subscribe because there's lots of good content here. Lots of games, lots of different stuff that I've made, that I've played, and lots of different opportunities to see tabletop baseball sort of evolving into something a little bit different than it has in the past, but also some of these sort of homage to the past as well. Yep, that's it for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.